Welcome back to the PBC, Pelican Bay's Corner, where I give it to you fair and unbiased, raw and uncut. Some gonna like it and some ain't. Like I always tell my brothers, big shout out to the brothers and sisters down in the chat, everybody that's listening, no matter what country you in, no matter what continent you in, no matter what time of the day you watching this video. We about to get into it. We got some topics to talk about. We talking about working man price today. We're gonna talk about working man price. And before I get into that, I want to talk about a subject, when it comes to these dogs. With any sport, because we always consider this dog game a sport. So with any sport, you have brothers that start these sports when they 5, 6, 7 years old, boxing, soccer, football. These brothers that work these sports from the time they was jits all the way up 20, 30, 40. It depends on what age the sport allows them to play at. And we got to understand there's a big difference between a brother who was 7 years old getting into bulldogs because his daddy or mama had bulldogs during that time. Shout out again to my brother 7 in North Carolina. It's a big difference between a brother who's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 into these bulldogs and a brother who just getting into the dogs when he's in his 30s. And he's not even 40 yet. He's just getting into the bulldogs. There's a big difference, and we underestimate that. I'm going to say we as in the community. We underestimate these kind of folk, these kind of brothers in this dog game, and the knowledge that they have in this dog game, you see. One thing about being green, being green, one of the most important things that I noticed, or I'm gonna say it like this, right? One thing that a person green always gets wrong is that they think they're not green. I had to learn this myself. And I'm using myself as an example from the 90s. You can have a good bulldog, and that bulldog will fool you like you're not green. And then you go here and you're dealing with a brother who know all the ropes, all the tricks, the ups, the downs, the lefts, the rights. He know all that about the dog game. You just getting into it, and you got a good bulldog, and you got played out your money. On down to the box tricks, the brothers will flick the wrist behind the dog legs. Do this because you can't push the dog. They'll flick the dog with their thumbs, pushing them forward. All these are tricks that's known by people that's seasoned. You see, the average brother will think because this man is 18, 19, 20, and you 40, that or you got more experience in the dog. You just got into the dogs in your 30s. You just turned 40. You just got into the dog in your 30s. This man been bulldogging since he been not even a teenager. Like I said, 6 and 7 with his family. Now he's 20. Same way about boxing. You don't know the fundamentals like these young brothers knew the fundamentals and learned the fundamentals coming up throughout their years. You see? You know how to survive. You know how to play the game by the rules, but you don't know, you're not seasoned enough. You know what I'm saying? And it's the thing. A lot of green people are bricks. A lot of the green folk are bricks. When I say that, I mean, they don't like to take knowledge in. A humble green person is more dangerous than your average green person that's like a brick. You can't tell me nothing. I know how to do this. I know how to do that. You can't tell me I can do this. I can do that. That's the person that'll part ways with their money fast. And like they always say, fools will part ways with their money. Green, on down to what I was telling y'all, the hanging scales back in the days. You see, you don't bring your scale to the show. You don't bring your own scale to the show. That's a green mistake. That's a green mistake. And none of us want to acknowledge that we're green. Being green is something that can last you throughout your whole dog career. It ain't something that ages, you age and it's because you a certain age, you not green no more. You know what I'm saying? That no, man. It's the experience that you got on these levels. Can you take a dog by yourself? Get them in tip-top shape by yourself. On the dime for the weight by yourself. It's supposed to be 49, bring them in at 49 on the dot. Can you do it? When I tell you the greenness, I didn't know that these brothers can rig up the scales. Not back then. It wasn't all these fancy digital scales way back when. Of course, you may have had some digital, but it wasn't as plentiful as it is now, way back then. You know, these boys rig up the scales to be 2 pounds. Your dog was 50. We going in at 50. The match weight is at 50. They rig up their scale for their dog to be 52 pounds, but look like he 50. Now, when you left home, your dog was right at 50 pounds. Now you put them on their scale, your dog weighed 47 pounds. Their dog weighed 50 pounds. Their dog is really overweighted. Tricks and trades to the game. You know, tricks and trades to the game. And if you're green, you won't catch this stuff. You know, a lot of brothers will say certain things about pro and game mag, but you can learn something from anybody when it comes to the dog game. Like me, I learned about the BB in the ear. Even if nobody ever did the BB in the ear before, and that was just a story made up by him. But I learned about that because, simple fact, you washing my dog, I'm washing your dog. If I drop a BB in his ear and it go down in his ear canal, I'm quite sure, almost 100% positive, that that's going to distract him from his show. He's not going to be able to put out the same 100% he was going to put out before. Now he got a distraction. It's going to distract any kind of animal. You drop something in their ear canal. And it goes down into their ear. So you can learn something from anybody, man, when it comes to these dogs. You can't not be a sponge. You know, that's one of the main things of being green, thinking you know it all, you know, and not listening to people that did it before you, not listening to people that got more knowledge in this thing than you have, you know. And like I said, you know, you got brothers out here who, you know, been bulldogging since they was little kids, and they still in the bulldog game. Now I'm gonna give you another example of greenness. You see, I'll give you another example. These brothers got more money in today's time than they got bulldog experience. You know, greenness. And I'm gonna speak about a well-known dog that a lot of people have heard of, but I'm not gonna say the dog name, but you're gonna know what I'm talking about. You know, and I'm gonna use it as example dates. You know, now I'm gonna call the dog Grand Champion Tut. I'm gonna call the dog Grand Champion Tut. Like I said, we doing this like the Unsolved Mysteries. Some of the names and places have been changed to protect the innocent. All right, Grand Champion Tut got a show in December, Christmas. Okay, he's worked hard 8 weeks. They worked him, they got him right. He's ready, he's on point. It's game time, it's the day of the show. We changed the show to another date. You know, the dog gets showed 2 weeks later, and he loses 2 weeks later. Now let me give you the green mistake that was made for a fool to part ways with his money. You see, for one, I always tell y'all brothers, the more money you put down, the more money you say that you're putting on this show, is the more opportunity you allow yourself to be cheated. You know, the purpose of the game is to find out if you got a bulldog or not. But the purpose to a gambler is to win this money, no matter how we got to win it or not. when you don't got as much experience as some of these other brothers in the dog game, you don't know the tricks and the trades to knock you off your throne, knock you off your path, knock you off of what you was doing and the training that you was doing. Mess up number one. You don't work your dog for 8 weeks. Call off that show on that 8th week and then do it 2 weeks later. You know, you don't do it like that. That's rule number one. Once you call that show off, the show is just off. You know, let your dog build back up and recuperate. You've been working him hard for 8 weeks. He coming to a tipping point. He coming to a peak. You getting him to his maximum threshold. You give him, I tell you, these injectables, a lot of these injectables are timed. Time release is what I'm saying. They work, but they work at certain, if we supposed to be going on Christmas in the morning time, then you giving the injectables so when you come in the morning time on Christmas, then everything will be working in the dog. The dex will be working, the roid will be working, everything will be working to whatever you gave the dog. Now you're talking about a whole nother 2 weeks later. That means whatever you gave that dog that day or the show, you had to let that wear off, and now you're going to try to do all the same stuff again. That's mess up number one. Never call off the show and then do it 2 weeks later. Because 9 times out of 10, the folk that on the opposite end, it's no telling if they even brought the same dog or not. Oh, that's no different than somebody trying to knock you off your game. You know you're doing it in the morning time, and then they don't show up till nighttime. Oh, you thinking it's because they lazy or they late or they never on time. Nah, they knocking you off your game. They know that you got your dog with this time stuff in him, these different injectables, that's time release. They know all that stuff. You know? In my days, I worked just like boxing. If you got a boxing match that's gonna be held overseas somewhere, and where you normally would do it in the United States at 10 o'clock, you normally be going in the ring at 10 o'clock p.m. And now you be going in the ring in the afternoon over here in one of these foreign countries. Now I'm working my dog to the time that we going. I always told brothers back in the 95, 96, 97, I would always work my dog to the same way that he's going to be going into the competition at. You know what I'm saying? Always. You know, if I'm going in the morning, I'm working him in the morning. If I'm going at night, I'm working him in the evening. Not all the time, but he's going to have a lot of workouts in the evening. You know? Just because I'm making this close as possible to the scenario that he's going to be going into. I like to do recon work on my opponent back in my days. A lot of people say they don't care about who they're going into, and I understand that totally. But it's the fun of the game that I do it. It's the trying to be extra prepared is why I do it. It's say, for instance, I got more than one dog that can make this weight. I got at least 5 dogs right now. All of them in shape. I didn't work all of them at one time, but I got confidence in all these dogs. Right? And you might be thinking I'm bringing a particular dog, but I do my recon work and I find out you got an old back end dog. So now I put a dog on them that's gonna combat that style. Just like boxing, they say styles make fights. Same way it is in the Pitbull game. Styles make matches. Oh, he a throat dog. He gonna stay in the throat. Then I'm gonna put a back end dog on him. You know? Now, if he a face dog, muzzle dog, I may not put a back end dog on him. Then again, I may do put a back end dog on him to stay away from his muzzle. But at the same time, You know, when a dog shooting a dog rear end, the first thing that other dog does is try to turn around and grab him around the top of the face to get him up off of him. So styles make matches. But my recon work is where all that's going to play in at, to try to mix and match, to put the right type of dog on that dog that you bring in. So understand, when you're dealing with somebody that's been in the game for their whole life, and you just getting in the game, you've been in the game 5 or 6 years, and yeah, you grown, and we all know how to comprehend, and we all know certain things, you know, but you don't know the game the way that brother know the game. Now, the first mistake they made with Grand Champion Tut, you know, was matching him 2 weeks after his match was called off. The second mistake they made with him was, he's already a grand champion. When are you planning on breeding this dog? And getting good offspring, going to the second phase of the game. Part 2 phase of the game. When are you planning on doing that? Let me ask you this. Barracuda's supposed to be a 9-time winner, right? Somewhere in that area, 9 or 11-time winner. You think his puppy's gonna sell more than Grand Champion Yellow puppies? He's a 5-time winner. What about Grand Champion Rodney? He's a 5-time winner. You think Barracuda, because he won so-called 5 or 6 more matches than Rodney, his puppy's gonna sell for more than Rodney's puppies? That's the second mistake you made. You know, taking a dog that's already grand champion out with some age on him, out again, when it ain't gonna boost up your value. The same value you would have got with that 6 win, that 7 win, you would have had with that 5 win. You would have had a little bit more money if you would have won that 6, but being that you lost the 6th one, now you're down, you lost a whole boatload of money. And you lost the dog. 2 green mistakes. Oh, and because you think you got a lot of money, you think you're not green. Or because you got a lot of money, you thinking what I'm saying don't pertain to you. You was green. And a fool and his money will part ways. And these old school bulldoggers that know what they're doing in that square, that know what they're doing in that conditioning, it's a wrap. You ain't no competition to them. You know, no competition at all. And only somebody green, you know, you could spot a greenhorn miles away. You know, you spot greenhorns miles away. Your average greenhorn, you get out of these chats and talking to different type of people. Your average greenhorn, they always talking about mouth. And I told y'all already, it ain't me making these laws of physics up. It's the way it is. You take a boxer and you take the weight off of him, he's not hitting as hard. You think Terence Crawford went up to fight Canelo and he went up in weight? You think his punches had the same zip on them when he was fighting smaller weights? Didn't Crawford fight a Porter? You think Crawford punches was feeling the same when he fought Porter compared to when he fought Canelo? That's why brothers don't understand what I'm telling them when I say you manipulate the mouth. If you got, it's a little area that you got to keep your dog at. If he can bite, you know, you're going to get more pressure and you're going to get more go in your dog because he's still at the weight that he can go. You don't want him fat, but you don't want him too skinny either. Because now you're trying to talk about mouth, but you took all the mouth away by taking all the weight away from him. That goes where we don't know how to call weight. You know, you don't actually know what weight is best for your dog. You just calling the weight and you're gonna make that weight, and little do you know, the weight was too small. You took too much mouth from them. That's what brothers don't understand. Sometimes this dog talk, when we talk it, these greenhorns, they don't understand. They going one ear and out the other. Even some of these old dog, man, because I tell you, the age don't mean you're not green. You know, some of these old motherfuckers will say the same damn thing. I'd rather have a certain biting style. See, a certain biting style, you can breed into your dog. And now you make sure he's good and healthy. You know what I'm saying? You make sure he's good and healthy. That way he can put down the crunch that he need to put down. Oh, you got too much weight off of him. And this dog right here normally would crunch, but you got too much weight off of him, so he ain't crunching nothing. Green shit. But when you don't know, you don't know. You know, and I just wanted to say that, you know, when you're dealing with these bulldoggers, some of these bulldoggers been bulldogging since they can barely lift a bag of dog food. And in today's time, it's a whole lot of gamblers in the dog game, a whole lot of brothers that got a lot of money in the dog game without a lot of knowledge and a lot of experience in the dog game. Experience is priceless. Oh yeah, you got more money than him, but you ain't got more experience than him. And all we trying to find out is who got the better bulldogs. These brothers will say, oh, we ain't matching nothing if you ain't got 50,000, you ain't got 100,000, we ain't matching nothing. And then you got his friends around him. Oh man, he got a top bulldog. He ain't got a top bulldog. He just got some nice pockets. You know? And the average man that's working 9 to 5 for his dollars is not gonna bet no $50,000 and $100,000 on no damn dog show. You talking about brothers that's bringing 100, 200 people to a dog show. When you bringing 100 people to a dog show, anybody can put 100,000 on a damn fight. Oh man, let me get 500 from him. Let me get 1,000 from him. Let me get 300 from him. Let me get 10,000 from him. Let me get 1,500 from him. Let me get 5 more hundred from him. You got 100 people. We ain't even got to 10 yet. If your dog was so badass, tell them 100 people to stay their ass home and send their money. See how many out of them 100 people, see how many of them send their money with you in case you win. The bet on your dog. It come with that 100,000. You see, I don't even want to handle a dog for a brother, and if it's not my 100,000, I'm losing. It's your 100,000 and you not rich. You just a dope boy with some bread. And I mean Pablo Escobar rich. I mean Puff Daddy rich. I mean 50 Cent rich. You know, LeBron rich. Where you can lose it and it don't bother you. I'm not trying to handle that dog. I can't even handle that dog properly. You see, a greenhorn don't know when you're handling the dogs, to grab them out of the hole, right? The scratching done started. My dog on the bottom. It's time to grab him out of the hole. I'm grabbing my dog and put him on his feet. Every chance I get, he coming off that bottom, I'm turning him over, putting him on his feet. Because I can grab my dog out of the hole. You know? So that's what I'm going to do. And that's not considered cheating. But if you can't just lose that money, and I know that you can just lose it and not worry about it, I'm not going to handle. Too much pressure on the handler. I want to pick the dog up. We got Pablo Escobar and El Chapo going against each other. Both men we know can lose $100,000 and it wouldn't fade them. At all. Wouldn't miss a step. At all. They don't need 100 people to make a bet. All right? Now I can handle this dog like I want to handle him. Because I know this ain't going to affect that man if I make a mistake or, or we don't win. Hey, Pablo, man, let's pick this dog up. We got to pick him up. We're going to lose today, but we're going to come back and we're going to get all this money back 3 or 4 times more. We need to pick him up right now, though. I can make rational decisions. But let it be a brother that really can't lose it. Put it on it. And you really can't lose it if you ain't coming right back and betting the same 100,000 again after you lose that 200,000. You lost 200,000, come back on your next damn show, put 200 more thousand on it. You lose that one, come back again, put 200 more thousand on it. That's when you can lose it. So now we pick up and we come back later on to another time. So, like I said, man, it's a thing, when you're green, but it's even worse when you're green and trying to, don't acknowledge that you're green. And like I said before, being green is not something that age brings you out of. You got brothers who've been in the dog game their whole damn life, and they still green. Oh, because you got dogs 10 years, you think you ain't green? Or because you had dogs 15 years, you think you ain't green? You still green. Brothers can easily pull the shade on your face. And these brothers hiding behind that money and they ain't got real bulldogs. Because you go out there and you win 100,000, that don't mean your bulldog was a $100,000 dog. That just means you pick your competition right today. And you may have a bulldog, but like I said before, when you start talking about, oh, we ain't doing it if you ain't doing 50,000, 100,000, to people that's really bulldoggers, they know there's a reason you doing that. Like I always say, we call that price gouging, we call that ducking, we call that using a price to duck people. You're not really confident in that dog. Because the average man is not going to bet no 50, 100,000, 200,000 on a damn show. Especially when you start talking about not bringing no big crowd of people there. A lot of these brothers that making these bets with y'all only making these bets because they can show up with y'all. Now we're talking about putting $200,000 on a damn show. And then you done told your folk about the show. Now you got 3 or 4 people that done rigged up a robbery for the show. They cool with you. Somewhat cool with you. Not really cool with you, just somewhat. But now they got him and 3 of his homeboys done made a plan that when y'all pull out all the money and we're gonna rob all of y'all. Everybody lay down, empty your pockets, and we got a ride that's about to pull up right now to pick us up. We don't give a damn about no dogs. Everybody empty their pockets. You know what I'm saying? Everybody empty it. Lay down. You bet not move. You bet not get up. And we gonna holler at you. You do what y'all want to do with these dogs, but the money gone. We take the money and we holler at you. When you betting these type of prices, you putting yourself in the crossfires of brothers that gonna react like this. You can say what you want to say, but when you start talking about that kind of money, brother will lay you down and you thought he was your friend. Lay you all the way down. Don't care how you feel about it. Greenhorn moves, man. Greenhorn moves. And when we talk about working man's price, why is this the only statement that this Pitbull game steadily uses over a 30-year period? Working man's price, working man's price. This Pitbull game is not built around the working man. Not no more. Maybe back in the days it was. Not no more. It's built around gamblers and hustlers. Working man, all these dog arrests that I've been giving y'all over the past 3 years, all these dog arrests, how many of them was working men? And how many of them was hustlers? I bet you I can count out of the last 3 years, I can count on 2 hands how many dog busts were from working men, or dog arrests or dog seizures were from straight working men that didn't touch no drugs at all. 2 hands out of all them arrests. Everybody else was weed, guns, cocaine, crack, ecstasy, fentanyl, all this kind of stuff. Working man's prices. Working man's prices. What is working man's prices to my brothers and sisters out there? Y'all hit that subscribe button up. Log into the channel if you're not subscribed yet. Hit that notification bell. That way you get the notifications when videos dropping. You know, what is working man's prices? Now, ask yourself this. I'm talking about to anybody out there. This is just a logical question. Ask yourself this. Here in America, how much could you get a loaf of bread for in 1996? You probably can get 5 loaves of bread in 1996 for the price that you pay for 1 loaf of bread right now, right? Everybody will agree with me. You could go in the store and get candy and come out with a bag full of candy in 1996 for $1. You go in there and get 1 box of Mike and Ike's or hot tamales right now for $1. Might get 2 at the most. You know, 1996 though, you go in there and get your little 5-cent candies, your 25-cent candies. Every single thing in the United States, my brothers and sisters, every single thing has went up in cost, from gas to houses to firearms to every single thing. Not one thing, not just this group of things, but every single thing. Tell me one product here in America that hasn't gone up since 1996. Even the prostitutes then went up since 1996. You can buy a prostitute for a whole lot cheaper than you can buy one for now. The Pitbull has went from 200 to 500 to 800 to 1,000 to 1,500, from 1,000 to 1,500, and it stops for some folk. For the majority of the bulldog people, they don't want to pay no more than $750 to $1,500. Why is that? Why is that? Even the working man's wages has went up since 19. I remember when I was first working when I was 14, making $4.25 an hour, and that was in 1993. $4.25 an hour working at the Pavilion. 1993. You will look at that now and say, what? $4.25? How in the hell was that legal? The things that I was going to buy wasn't high either. Jordans barely was $100. Maybe $110. Maybe $99. After taxes, you know, the taxes and stuff come on it. Now they $300. Every single product in America has gone up except for the Pitbull. All your cars, all your trucks, you know, your land, everything. These brothers in the Pitbull game, with the hate that they got, you know, with the mentality that they got, they try to keep this product the same. So you mean to tell me we get up here and tell our stories and we say, oh man, I remember I get a dog for $250. So many years ago, right? But when you add them same many years from then to now, and then go forward in the dog game, the price of the Pitbull is going to be the same exact thing. You know, if I was paying $250 for Pitbulls, I remember going to Mr. Claude's house, like I always tell you, Mr. Claude Puckett. They had Puckett's Dixie Belle. You know, they had some of them yellow dogs. And a lot of brothers' papers today. Going to his house and he offering dogs for sale for $250. You know, late 90s. But now you're supposed to get these same dogs. You got brothers out here that don't want to pay. You know, you got all kind of brothers out here. And this is the thing. When I was in the game back in them days, if I wanted it, I paid for it. You know, Nitro, that's in a lot of y'all pedigrees. Off that P-Nitty's Nitro. It was Pelican Bay's Nitro before then. I paid $2,500 for that dog. You know, I brought his little mate brother 2 weeks before that. $2,500 for him. That's $5,000 for 2 dogs in 2 weeks. Because I wanted them. You know, it's the difference between the dog man and having a love for these dogs, and if you can't afford it, you can't afford it. If you can't afford it, go get it. These brothers today's time, they want to steal your stuff. They want to pay $200 for multi-$1,000 dogs. For a several $1,000 dog, they want to pay $200, $250. We ain't on the same level. You know, we're not on the same level at all, man. And I ain't afraid to say it, you know, because how these brothers be out here shooting the shit with folk in the dog game in today's time. They act like they so big with this and big with that. Even some of your dope boys. You making all this damn money, but you don't want to pay so much money for a dog. You want to get a dog for free and go ahead and bet damn $100,000 on the dog, but you don't want to put $3,000 on the dog. You don't want to pay $2,000. You don't want to pay a whole $1,000 cash for a dog, but you want to go ahead and put and bet $100,000 on it. Does it make sense? One thing I know, two things for sure. When you pay for it, you take care of it. When you pay for it, you do it the way it's supposed to be done. Oh, I give you a top quality dog for $250. You're going to fuck that dog up. You're going to ruin that dog. I give you the same quality of dog for $3,000. Now you're going to do what you're supposed to do with the dog. You're going to take care of it because, oh, I paid all this. I paid all. It's a different ball game. See, when you make these dogs cheap, it's when you ruin the breed. That's how a lot of the German Shepherds got ruined. A lot of the Dobermans got ruined. A lot of the Rottweilers got ruined. Because when these dogs was popular, everybody started getting them. Now, everybody ain't going to go by the same rules when it comes to selling. He's just trying to cop block you. He just trying to cut you short. He's selling his dogs cheap over here. Now, any and everybody getting them. Any and everybody breeding them. They ain't breeding them the way they're supposed to be bred, and you getting half-ass dogs. German Shepherds with sloped backs. Hip dysplasia. You know, Rottweilers with Doberman pinscher heads. Skinny faces. Instead of being big-headed. You know, all that comes from selling dogs to people too cheap. If you can't afford it, get the hell out of the way. Plain out and simple, man. I ain't trying to be buddy out here with a lot of these bulldoggers. You know what I'm saying? I'm willing to be cool with anybody that wants to be cool because I'm a cool, laid-back kind of guy. But at the same time, you know, brothers will try to befriend you to get cheap shit. You know? And it's a difference in me knowing you a real bulldog, man, and you got my best intentions at heart, and you really fuck with me. It's a difference in me giving you a cheap dog or a free dog than the person who I know he ain't gonna buy nothing. And this is another thing you gotta watch out for, my brothers. These boys, they don't want to give you $250 for a dog, and you got a high quality dog, but they go buy a bullshit dog from somebody and give him 5 times more money. Don't care about, oh, give him $3,000 or $4,000 for that bullshit he got, but they want to pay you what you want for yours. That's how it always is. And it'll be the people that you fuck with, the people that you call your friend. Oh, he'll go give this man top dollar for the dog. We can't even bring $250 out to give you for yours. Working man's price. What's the working man's price? Like I said, that's a phrase that we need to eliminate from the dog game. Working man's price. Because when they say that, tell them the dog game ain't built around the working man no more. Dog man ain't built around the working man. When the judge are talking about they tagging the RICO law in on the dog fighting brothers, the dog game ain't built around the working man. The dog game built around the drug dealer. You don't want reality, I can't help that. I'm just here to give it to you. You know what I'm saying? Fair and unbiased, raw and uncut. Working man price. You want a dog, working man price. You know? What is working man's price? Does that mean cheap? Does working man's price mean cheap? You know? I'm just asking, you know? I'm not saying it don't mean cheap or don't mean getting a better deal. What does it mean when you say working man's price? They should all be working man's price when the price ain't went up in the last 15 years. $15 years ago, because time go by fast. 15 years ago, it would have been 2000 and what? 2011? Dogs was $1,000, $1,500 then. Still the same price. While everything else in the United States going up. Because real businessmen and real businesswomen own these other products. Gamblers own these pit bulls. Dope dealers own these pit bulls. Haters own these pit bulls. And the working man is in that bunch, but the working man is struggling to be seen in that game. You know? And it just is the way it is, man. I call it the way I see it. You know what I'm saying? What's the working man's price? Like I said, what does it mean to give you a dog working man's price? Do I gotta go back on what I'm doing? Do I gotta go out there when all the bread in the store? Do you go to the Walmart and say, let me get this stuff out of Walmart for a working man price? Do you go in the gas station and say, let me get this stuff out the gas station for a working man price? No, you pay for what you want. If you can't afford it, then you walk out the store or you steal it. One or the other, you know? You don't go in never business. Say, let me get this for, you don't go no call out, say, let me get this for working man price. But you get a dog, you gotta say, let me get this for working man price. You go to try to buy a house, let me get this for working man price. You can get your working man price ass up out this damn real estate office and come back when you got the money. That's what they gonna say. So what's working man's price? What does that mean? You know, what does it mean, man? Is what I ask brothers and sisters out here today. What does working man price mean? You do know, when I sell a dog, or if I sell any product, my product is going to be higher than the average person just off top alone. I'm on a whole platform that's being viewed across the world. I've been doing this for several years. You know, folk know me. You don't think I'm putting all that in my price? It's no different than you going to one of these other brothers that's from back in the days, Mr. Garner or Mr. Hammonds, or you gonna pay higher from a dog from Mr. Hammonds than you is from a Hammonds dog that's coming from somebody else out here. You're gonna pay higher for a dog from Mr. Garner, then you're going to get a Garner dog from one of these other brothers out here. You're going to pay higher from PBK for a dog than you're going to pay for a PBK dog from out here somewhere where they done start breeding. It's the notoriety. It's the work that these brothers and everybody putting in the game. You know what I'm saying? It's the advertise. Everything goes into play. You know? So I can't help what you think about your program. I just know what about my program. You know? Working man's price. Where the working man at that's trying to help me advertise? Where the working man at that's trying to help me promote? Help me do the way I get my program out there. You know, my shows and all that type of stuff. Where the working man at then? Where the working man was at when I had to defend this and defend that. And when they were saying this and when they were saying that, believe me, I got my eyes on certain brothers that rock with me, that work. You know, I got my eyes on all that, and I know who rock with the Bay, that work, the working man. But at the same time, man, you know, that working man price phrase that brothers like to use is just one way to say, let me get something cheap. One way to say, let me get something that I don't want to pay you this price, but I'm willing to pay the next brother sky high for. You know? And like I said before, you ain't going into nobody's business in modern day time. Back in the days, you ain't going into nobody's business talking about, let me get something for working man price. You can't afford it, get your ass the hell up out of here, like I said before. You know? Go to a prostitute, let me get some ass, let me get some pussy for a working man price. You know, going to what they call them, brothels or whatever they call them. In Vegas over there, brothels. Let me come over here and have some fun for a working man price. Only in the Pitbull game. Only with these Pitbull brothers. They haters and they always want something for free. You know? And it is what it is, man. Like I always say, I got to call it the way I see it. Call it the way it is. You don't like it, so be it. You know? So the F and be it. Brothers, I'm going to tell you, brothers will try to come at you with the working man price, get a cheap dog from you, and then you look at them selling their dogs. They selling their dogs for sky high. But they don't want to pay nothing but $250 or $500 from you. But when they sell theirs, they want to sell it sky high. And you're like, damn. All it was a stepping stool. Give you a cheap dog so it sets you up to make bread. And you ain't trying to put the work in to make it. Nah, cause see, I done been in them situations. I done seen when you ain't got no dogs and you go back and you step to these big time breeders, let me get a dog. You ain't getting shit for free. They're gonna charge you full price. Oh, I looked out for everybody when I had my dogs. I was looking out. Nobody don't care about that shit no more. Just like the dope game. If you ain't feeding these folk, you ain't putting some dope in their pocket so they can go out there and make money, they talk about you. No different. You ain't got the dogs that I could come get from you or willing to put dogs in my pocket, talk about you. They don't need you no more. Step on to the next person. Working man price. And this is what I'm going to say. And I'm going to leave on this note. Let's have do a little project here. Anybody that can go in Walmart and use that phrase and get something for the working man price, I'll give you a free puppy. You know, anybody that can go on a car lot and get a specific car, you gotta let me know where you're going first and videotape you going there saying, let me get it for working man price. And you get that car, I'll give you a free puppy to go along with it. Go into your local gas station and say, let me get this stuff right here for working man price. And let me see if you get it. Give you a free puppy. Any place you go at, grocery store, let me get these groceries today for working man price. If they give it to you for working man price, I'll give you a free puppy. That shit don't work nowhere but this pit bull game, where brothers want to stay stagnant in one damn place doing the same old shit that they've been doing, because them brothers from the 90s on up to the early 2000s, it was elevating. Then it just went flat. You let the wrong kind of people in the dog game, and it just went flat. No progress.